Have you ever pondered what it truly takes to live a long, vibrant life, one that extends beyond 100 years? Imagine waking up every morning with energy, a sharp mind, and a body that defies the aging process. What if I told you that the secret to this longevity isn't hidden in expensive medications, but rather in something you eat every single day? Dr. Ellsworth Wareham, one of the world's oldest heart surgeons, lived to be 104 years old, not just surviving, but thriving. His life wasn't just about genetics or luck, it was about deliberate choices, and one of the most crucial was what he put on his plate. The one food that could help you live to 100. What if the key to living a longer, healthier life wasn't in a pill, a treatment, or some futuristic breakthrough, but instead right on your plate? What if the difference between struggling with disease in your later years and thriving with energy well past 100 came down to one simple dietary choice? For Dr. Ellsworth Wareham, one of the world's oldest heart surgeons, the answer was clear. He lived to be 104, not just existing, but truly living, sharp, independent, and free from the chronic diseases that plague so many aging Americans. His secret? A low-fat, plant-based diet, free from the one ingredient that silently destroys hearts across the country: saturated fat from animal products. Most people don't realize how dangerous the foods they eat every day truly are. Saturated fat found in meat, dairy, and processed junk is a silent killer. It clogs arteries, fuels inflammation, and sets the stage for heart attacks, strokes, and even cognitive decline. It doesn't strike overnight, it works slowly, robbing you of your health piece by piece until one day you wake up with chest pain, high blood pressure, or worse, find yourself on an operating table. Dr. Wareham saw this pattern play out over and over again in his decades as a heart surgeon. He knew that patients who continued eating animal fats were almost guaranteed to develop heart disease, no matter how much they exercised or how many medications they took. But those who switched to a plant-based diet, rich in leafy greens, whole grains, nuts, and legumes, experienced something remarkable. Their arteries remained clear, flexible, and resilient, just like those of a much younger person. Scientific research backs up what he practiced. Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn both proved that a low-fat, plant-based diet doesn't just prevent heart disease, it can actually reverse it. This means that even if your arteries have already started to narrow, you can turn things around simply by changing what's on your plate. Imagine reaching 90, even 100, with energy, mobility, and a sharp mind. Imagine avoiding the suffering that so many endure: no endless doctor visits, no dependency on pills, no fear of a sudden heart attack. This isn't just a theory. It's a reality for those who make the choice to nourish their bodies the right way. But there's something even more surprising about Dr. Wareham's lifestyle, something most people never consider when it comes to longevity, and it has nothing to do with food. How a plant-based diet protects your heart. Your heart is a remarkable organ, tirelessly beating over 100,000 times a day, carrying life through every vein and artery. But what if with every meal you were unknowingly suffocating it, forcing it to work harder, weakening it, and shortening the years it has left? The truth is, most people are damaging their hearts not through genetics or aging, but through the foods they eat every single day. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham understood this long before it became mainstream knowledge. As a cardiothoracic surgeon, he spent decades opening chests, witnessing firsthand the devastation inside diseased arteries. He saw patients in their 50s and 60s with arteries so clogged they resembled old, corroded pipes. And yet, when he looked at the arteries of those who followed a low-fat, plant-based diet, they were different. Clean, flexible, free of the sticky plaques that led to heart attacks and strokes. Science confirms what Dr. Wareham observed. A plant-based diet, rich in fiber, antioxidants, and healthy plant fats, has been proven to lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and even reverse heart disease. Unlike animal-based foods, which are loaded with saturated fats that thicken blood and constrict vessels, plant foods work with your body, nourishing your heart rather than straining it. Legumes and whole grains help sweep excess cholesterol from the bloodstream. Leafy greens, packed with natural nitrates, open up blood vessels and reduce blood pressure naturally. Nuts and seeds provide heart-healthy fats without the artery-clogging effects of animal products. Every meal becomes an act of healing rather than harm. One of the most powerful studies in cardiology, led by Dr. Dean Ornish, found that patients with severe heart disease who switched to a plant-based diet not only stopped the progression of their illness but actually reversed it. No medication, no surgery, just food as medicine. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn at the Cleveland Clinic saw similar results. In his study, patients who had been told they had no hope left completely reversed their heart disease simply by eliminating animal products and processed foods. The power of a plant-based diet is undeniable. It doesn't just add years to your life, it adds life to your years, giving you the energy, vitality, and freedom that so many lose too soon. But protecting your heart is just one piece of the puzzle. There's another surprising factor that could determine whether you reach 100 or fall victim to disease far too soon. The power of low cholesterol, the 140 rule. Most people think heart disease is an inevitable part of aging, something that just happens as the years go by. But what if the real cause wasn't age at all, but something measurable, controllable, and completely within your power to change? Dr. Ellsworth Wareham believed this to be true, and science has proven him right. The key lies in one simple number, 140. For decades, Dr. Wareham followed a principle that kept his heart strong and his body thriving past 100. He knew that if his total cholesterol stayed below 140 mg/dl, he was virtually immune to heart disease. And he was right. At 104, he had never needed heart medication, never suffered from a heart attack, and never faced the terrifying reality of bypass surgery, something he had performed on thousands of patients who didn't realize how much control they actually had over their fate. Cholesterol is a silent destroyer, building up in arteries, hardening them over time, and cutting off the very lifeline that keeps your body running. Most Americans walk around with cholesterol levels well above 200 mg/dl, completely unaware that with each passing day, plaque is narrowing their arteries, setting them up for a future of heart failure, strokes, or sudden cardiac arrest. Even those who feel healthy often have no idea what's happening inside their blood vessels until it's too late. The good news? Cholesterol levels are not dictated by fate. They are dictated by food. Studies show that those who adopt a low-fat, plant-based diet can lower their cholesterol dramatically, often within just weeks. Unlike statins, which merely suppress symptoms while damage continues, food heals the problem at its root. Animal products, meat, dairy, eggs, are the primary source of dietary cholesterol and saturated fat, clogging arteries meal by meal. Remove them and your body begins to repair itself. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn's research at the Cleveland Clinic showed that patients who eliminated animal products not only stopped their heart disease, they reversed it. Scans of their arteries after making the switch revealed something incredible. Plaques had begun to disappear, blood flow had improved, and their risk of heart attacks had plummeted. The truth is, no one needs to die from heart disease. It is a choice that starts with what you put on your plate. Dr. Wareham didn't just talk about this, he lived it. His cholesterol remained at 117 mg/dl, well below the danger zone, ensuring that his heart stayed as strong as it had been decades earlier. But while keeping cholesterol low is a game changer, it's only part of the longevity equation. There's another factor often overlooked that can determine whether you live well past 100 or find yourself struggling far too soon. The simple change that could save your life. Life is filled with choices, some small, some life-altering. But what if I told you that one simple choice, repeated daily, could determine whether you spend your later years full of energy and independence or trapped in a cycle of medications, doctor visits, and declining health? The truth is, your longevity isn't decided by fate. It's decided by the decisions you make every single day. And for Dr. Ellsworth Wareham, one of the world's longest-living heart surgeons, that decision came down to what he put on his plate. Dr. Wareham understood something that most people ignore until it's too late. Disease doesn't strike overnight. Heart attacks don't happen because of one bad meal, and strokes aren't caused by a single stressful day. These conditions build silently over decades, the result of daily habits that either heal or harm your body. He knew that if he wanted to stay strong well into his 90s and beyond, he needed to make choices that protected his heart, mind, and body before symptoms ever appeared. So he made a simple but powerful change. He eliminated all animal products from his diet. No meat, no dairy, no processed junk, just whole plant-based foods that nourish rather than destroy. It wasn't a trend, a temporary fix, or a restrictive diet. It was a lifestyle, one that kept his cholesterol low, his arteries clear, and his body thriving past 100. And the results? He never needed heart medication. He never suffered from high blood pressure, diabetes, or obesity. He remained independent, mentally sharp, and fully mobile when most people his age were confined to wheelchairs or hospital beds. He proved that by making one simple change, choosing whole, plant-based foods over processed, artery-clogging ones, you don't just extend your years, you improve the quality of every single one. It's easy to dismiss change as difficult, to believe that habits are too ingrained to break. But Dr. Wareham's life is proof that the choice is yours. You can continue down the path most Americans take, hoping that medications will undo years of damage. Or you can make the same decision he did and experience the kind of health and vitality that most people only dream of. But there's something even more crucial than diet when it comes to longevity. Something that can protect not just your heart, but your mind. And without it, even the healthiest diet in the world won't be enough. It's not just about living longer, it's about living better. What good is living to 100 if those extra years are spent in pain, struggling to move, relying on medications just to get through the day? Longevity means nothing without quality of life. True success isn't just adding years to your life, it's adding life to your years. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham didn't just live past 100, he thrived. He wasn't confined to a hospital bed, hooked up to machines, or dependent on daily handfuls of pills. He was independent, clear-minded, and strong. He still drove his car at 100. He still enjoyed his family, his work, and the simple pleasures of life. He had not only extended his years, he had ensured those years were worth living. Most people don't think about this until it's too late. They assume that declining health is just part of aging, that memory loss, weakness, and disease are inevitable. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, how you live today determines how you'll live in your later years. The foods you eat, the way you move, the relationships you build, these are the choices that will decide whether you spend your later years vibrant and active or struggling with pain and limitation. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. Studies of the world's longest living populations, places like Loma Linda, Okinawa, and Sardinia, show that people who make intentional choices about their health don't just live longer, they live better. They maintain their mobility, they stay sharp well into their 90s and beyond, and they remain engaged in life rather than watching it pass them by. Their secret isn't found in some expensive anti-aging treatment or a cutting-edge drug. It's found in simple daily habits. The food they eat, the way they move, the sense of purpose that drives them forward every day. Dr. Wareham's life is proof that longevity and vitality go hand in hand if you make the right choices. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis to change. You don't have to accept a slow decline as your future. You have the power to shape your health, your future, and the kind of life you want to live. But longevity isn't just about the body. There's something even more important, something that has been proven to add years to your life and keep your mind as sharp as your body. And without it, even the healthiest diet and most active lifestyle won't be enough. What will you choose? Every day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you make choices. Some seem small: what to eat for breakfast, whether to take the stairs or the elevator, how to spend your free time. But over time, these choices shape your future in ways you might not even realize. They determine whether you will live with strength and clarity or struggle with disease and decline. They decide whether your later years will be filled with independence and joy or weighed down by medications, doctor visits, and limitations. Dr. Ellsworth Wareham understood this truth better than most. He saw firsthand the devastating consequences of poor choices: arteries hardened by years of bad eating, hearts failing under the weight of preventable disease, patients who waited too long to change. But he also saw the other side. He saw what happened when people took control of their health, made better decisions, and reversed the course of their lives. He didn't just read about longevity, he lived it. And he did so by making choices that supported his body rather than worked against it. The reality is, you have that same power. You are not at the mercy of genetics or luck. You don't have to follow the same path as those before you. Your body is resilient, capable of healing, capable of thriving if you give it what it needs. But that's the key. You must decide to make that change. Maybe you've told yourself that it's too late, that damage has already been done. It hasn't. Science has proven that even decades of unhealthy habits can be reversed with the right choices. Maybe you think change is too hard, but is it really harder than living with disease, than losing your independence, than looking back years from now and wishing you had done something different? Dr. Wareham's life was proof that a long, healthy, vibrant life is not just possible, it's within reach, but only for those who choose it. So what will you choose? Will you continue as you always have, hoping for the best? Or will you take control starting today and give yourself the future you deserve? Because the truth is, longevity isn't just about the food you eat or the way you move, it's about something deeper, something that goes beyond physical health. And if you ignore this next crucial piece of the puzzle, even the healthiest lifestyle won't be enough. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.